Hallelujah. Today, power prayer warriors. We must recognize and obey. The whole reason God called us and He created us is for the purpose of recognizing the Lord's power and obey Him. He is the source of our life. He is our love. He is our everything. He's created everything, and He's given us the responsibility to acknowledge Him and to align ourselves in His will, according to His way. See, we can do life our own way. We can approach it how we think. But when we begin to see how God manifests His love, why there is conflict, why there is war, why there is sin, why there is destruction, why there is everything that is against life. But yet, when we recognize God and we obey Him, He reverses the curse. It's just Easter past. And the message that we've heard on Sunday morning, are we recognizing and are we obeying the message? Even as we read today in our New Testament reading, Jesus begins to tell them, you're invited to a banquet. Don't take the place of honor. You got to recognize where you are at and who you are. Don't let yourself be humiliated when you talk and you say you're this and you're really not that. Jesus is inviting us to come. We think it's just the easy thing to say you're a Christian, or I'm saved, or I believe God, or, Jesus said, you need to sit down, count the cost, and recognize if you can defeat your enemy, if you can defeat the army that is coming against you. He says, you need to sit down and count the cost. You can't be half-hearted. He says, you've got to commit all your life. Jesus says, you cannot be my disciple if you do not renounce all you possess. And that's including yourself. He says, if you want to come to me, you got to hate your father, mother, wife, children, brothers, sisters, even your own life. If you can't do that, you're not my disciple. You need to take up your cross and follow me. We must recognize and obey the very simplicity of loving God and knowing that this earth, the flesh, the world system has been defiled, has been cursed, has been taken from our very souls. But yet God has mercy. Be salt, He says. Our psalm reminds us that prayer, the sign of revival, the sign of revival is prayer. You know what brings revival? Prayer. Because it's people coming in the presence of God. It's people recognizing it's only the power of God. Prayer is the key, and we must continue to pray. Power prayer warriors, continuing to intercede and read and pray and lift up. Our our proverb today ends by saying, a lazy person doesn't cook his prey. He doesn't cook his food. He doesn't take time to pray. God gives us His Son, but we've got to pray. He says we must follow that path of life. Recognize and obey the path of life, because the other path, if we don't recognize and obey the path of life, this is Proverbs 12:28. If we don't recognize and obey and follow the path of life in His righteousness, Every other path we take is death. Recognize and obey.